everyone, it's Jack Cotton, luxury real estate author, expert, and agent. And I'm thinking today about how I began in real estate. You know, people ask me this question all the time, and it's especially apparent now that I'm just finishing my 39th year in the business. In 2014 will mark my 40th year in the business, 4 decades working in the same real estate business, the same company that I founded in my college dorm room 40 years ago in 1974. And so as I'm driving around my yard today, the answer to how I got into real estate is right here in my play area. And I want to take you for a ride down my driveway, and we'll talk about how I got started in real estate and why it's still so important to me. So we can all think back to times in our childhood when things weren't exactly perfect, things weren't going well. We might have been sad, depressed, something wasn't right in our childhood, and we all had that. We can all look for instances and examples of that. In my case, when those situations arose, my solution was to retreat to one of the crudely built houses I'd built out in the woods. And you have to understand that back in those days when I was a kid, there were tons of homes being built on Cape Cod, so the supply of lumber, scrap lumber, was virtually unlimited. So at the tops of trees, under trees, in the woods, out in fields, I was building houses all the time. And when I was having a bad day, I would retreat to one of my hastily built little places and go inside and be in my own space, and you know, the sunlight would filter through the boards that were sort of crudely put together, and the sunlight would light up the grain on the opposite walls, and the smells of the fresh cut wood would fill my senses, and pretty soon all became right with my world. And isn't that the way it is with all of us in our houses? I mean, our houses are the oasis from the storms of life. Our houses are where we celebrate, you know, births and mourn the loss of family members and celebrate happy times and all kinds of stuff like that. Well, that's the way it is for me. And so what I did a few years back is I had this tree house built. It was actually built by a company out in California, and I had it shipped out here and assembled in my yard. We're coming up on it right now. And I have to drive by this tree house every day on my way to work. And the cool thing about this is that it reminds me of why I'm in real estate, why real estate is important. We're not just selling houses, we're changing lives, improving lives, and enhancing lives, whether it's a little 3-bedroom ranch or a Cape Cod or a palatial mansion. It's people's oasis from the storms of life. It's where people reconnect and recharge and rejuvenate and reforge connections with family members and friends. The house is the central part of all of our being. So for me, I've never been able to shake that feeling I had as a kid inside my little tree houses. And so this one in my yard, which is next to the driveway on the way out, always reminds me of why I'm in the business, why it's important, why I love it, and why it's a mission to help people solve their real estate problems. So I guess I'm curious now as to how did you get into real estate? What's your story for why you came into this business? Because I think having that story down is important, because there are days actually when the real estate business is not all that much fun, and it's good to be reminded as to the good reasons for why we are in it. So I'd love to have you share your story with me, and maybe I'll share them in a future blog. Anyway, just want to remind you that Luxury Real Estate Unplugged is taking place the first Tuesday of every single month. If you have a question, go to luxuryrealestateunplugged.com and enter your question. If you really want it to be private, you can just send me an email, jack@jackcotton.com, and ask a question personally, and I'll answer the question, but we'll keep it anonymous. Some people don't want to have their names mentioned or shown, so that's fine. And I also want to remind you that if you have a luxury listing that you'd like me to share with our little group and network, please do that. We need a new one every single week when this email newsletter goes out by video. So go ahead and do that. And Luxury Agent Academy is underway. Enrollment is closed. We'll be looking to start that again sometime after the first of the year, do another session. So I hope to see you then. In the meantime, send me those questions, send me your stories, and until then, make it a great week. Love that treehouse.